ज्योति स्टेनो टाइपिंग कॉलेज में आप सभी बच्चों का स्वागत है। बच्चों कैसे आप सभी, उम्मीद करता हूँ अच्छे होंगे। ये 100 WPM डिक्टेशन क्लास है। ये सभी डिपार्टमेंटों के लिए इम्पोर्टेंट डिक्टेशन है। इसको पहले अच्छे से लिखें, लिखने के बाद इसको अच्छे से पढ़ें। पढ़ने में 8 से 10 मिनट का समय ले, जो शॉर्ट हैंड लिखी है। फिर ये वेबसाइट है jyotisstenotypingcollege.com। वहाँ पर जैसे अपना रजिस्ट्रेशन वगैरह करके एडमिशन लेकर के जब डिक्टेशन में एडमिशन लोगे तो एक फ़ोल्डर मिलेगा SSC 100 WPM डिक्टेशन के नाम से। तो उसमें डिक्टेशन नंबर 22 के नाम से मिल जाएगी। वहाँ इसको जाके टाइप कर सकते हो और अपनी एक्यूरेसी को जान सकते हो। तो डिक्टेशन स्टार्ट आफ्टर 5 सेकेंड। Therefore, this particular provision should be amended by the Honorable Minister for the purpose of giving protection to the working class at the initial stage itself when the site is selected. The idea behind referring the matter whether an industry is to set up in a particular locality to the site appraisal committee is that it can serve two purposes. We find that most of the industries are situated only in the urban areas. Now we see that the problem of water pollution, air pollution, dumping of hazardous material, etc. are there, and therefore the purpose of bringing forward this particular amendment is very clear. But I think that the site appraisal committee which approves of the site should also be given adequate protection under the Act. I say this because in one way this committee will pave the way for decentralization of industries. Therefore, I welcome this amendment and I congratulate the Minister for this specific amendment. Now, I would like to come to certain other important aspects which have been mentioned here. I am referring to clause 26 which replaces the earlier provision. When we go to the glass factories or the match factories, we find that none of the provisions of the Factories Act is followed. The workers, including small children in the glass factories, are working in temperatures going very high. In several places in UP and in other areas also, when the factory inspector goes to the factories, they are told that these people are not the employees of the factory. But the minister says in the provision that safety measures have to be provided the workers who are working in the glass factories, I think are actually dying a slow death. Whatever provisions have been made by the government are not being implemented properly. Sir, in subsection 2 of section 38 says that effective measures shall be taken to ensure that in every factory all the workers are familiar with the means of escape in case of fire and have been adequately trained in the routine to be followed in such cases. Sir, it is to see whether the workers have been trained or not. The Labour Department has to educate them with the help of the management. They should coordinate with the management and then educate the working class so that the Labour Department will definitely see that the workers are given full education about the safety measures in the factory. Sir, the penalty provision has also been made stringent under section 14(1)(b), the inquiry committee is to be set up by the central government. Sir, I would like to say that the committee which has to be set up and which has to gives its finding should not be advisory in nature. It should be mandatory in nature. I would also like to submit that the Honorable Minister should see that the definition of factory is amended, because a lot of factories coming up are not covered by this act. Mr. Vice Chairman, sir, as I said on the earlier occasion, when the minister had moved a bill concerning the gratuity, in this bill also I can only lend my limited support. The minister has been trying hard to improve the working condition of the working people of our country, but the provisions that are sought to be framed fall too short for the requirements. Therefore, this bill is of course an improvement, but it is half-hearted, partial, and is not going to meet the requirements of the situation. I say this because in a society where profit motive is working, people is bound to suffer and get neglected. Therefore, in a society of capitalist structure, the owners of the factories only mind for profit, and while running for poverty, they neglect tremendously the security and safety measures. Therefore, it is natural that accidents are rising tremendously. In about 3 lakh workers are involved in accidents are rising tremendously. In about 3 lakh workers are involved in accidents. In my opinion, it is an understatement. Every year, about 2000 men and women lost their life because of accident. Again, I say it is understatement, because the employers will conceal accidental deaths who have fallen victim to their own neglect of safety system. Sir, last year when the safety measures conference took place, there was a conscious agreement among all those who are attended the conference that the decision of the previous conferences regarding enforcement of minimum safety measures have not been implemented. Therefore, the main point why accidents take place is that there is a neglect, a total neglect to enforce minimum safety measures and requirements, and the machinery the government has developed in enforce safety measures can be bribed to silence. Therefore, people can bribe the machinery in order ensure that they can produce in whatever was they like, and the victims are the poor workers. Therefore, the enforcement machinery is weak and corrupt and inadequate to meet the requirements of the situation. Sir, may I draw your attention that the ILO had published a report about the safety condition of our country. That report has not been published here. It only gives rise to suspicion that the government of India does want to conceal the truth about the pitiable condition of industrial safety. I want the minister to take note of it and tell us whether it is going to publish that report at all. Sir, coming to other points, I only submit that coal should be included in this bill that is sought to be introduced. Secondly, I feel workers should not be selected by the management to be a part and parcel of the safety enforcement machinery, because the master of industry will purchase the workers, will bribe them and take their certificate. ये स्पीड लगभग रही 113 के आसपास, 113-14 रही होगी, 13 ही रही होगी शायद। तो वेबसाइट पे इसको लगा दिएगा, पहले उसको अच्छे से पढ़ें, फिर उसको टाइप कर दें। जो भी बच्चे नए बच्चे जुड़ करके हमारे साथ डिक्टेशन लिख के टाइप करना चाहते हैं तो मंथली फीस मात्र इसकी 500 रुपये है, और इसमें प्रीवियस भी और जो है अभी करंट में जो बोली जा रही डिक्टेशन है वो सारी आप लिख सकते हैं। इस क्लास के अंदर इतना ही बच्चों, नमस्कार बच्चों।